Hi, the name's Gab. Faux Hollows. Love them or hate them, along with the Unreal trials attached to them, they are one of the best long-term guild makers out there, as well as host to a wide plethora of collectibles such as glams, minions, and even mounts, including the exclusive Construct Success. This no-nonsense guide will give you an overview as to what Faux Hollow is, what it involves, and some tips I've picked up along the way to really help you get the most out of it, both from an efficiency perspective and from a guild making one. For this guide, I'm going to assume that you've completed the quest to unlock it so as to not waste time, but for those of you who haven't, you'll need to have completed the Shadowbringers MSQ and the quest Keeping Up with the Alipos. The quest giver should be somewhere around here. Now, let's get into it. Now, before you go gallivanting off to do some Unreals, for those of you who are either newer to the game, more casual, or otherwise not quite comfortable with the more difficult parts of the game, a word of warning to you. Unreals are more difficult than that of your normal dungeons, trials, and raids. They are essentially extremes that have been scaled up to level 90, albeit a little bit easier than the modern extremes that we see today. If you're one of these players, here's a couple of pieces of advice. Find a guide to follow. I usually find that Hector's guides cover pretty much everything you need to know about the fight. I'll leave his channel as well as the most current Unreal fight guide in the description for you to click through, after you finish this video of course. And the second is, if you have friends or an FC, try to see if you can bring along some of them to do the fight whilst talking with one another. Direct comms goes a really long way, especially if you have someone who has done the fight before and can give callouts. Now, once you've done with the fight, you'll be given a Faux Hollow. With this, go for the Fox and play the minigame. You'll be presented with a 6x6 board, but you can only reveal 11 panels on the board. On this board, there will be one large illustration, one medium, either a gift or a coffer, and a chance at one small fox. The smaller the illustrations, the larger the prize. One thing you should go for, though, on your first minigame is the dual blades, the large illustration. Revealing this will give you a retelling, which will allow you, if you complete the same fight again, to play the minigame again up to 2 times per week, thereby earning more leaves in the long run. Now it's time to show you how to solve this board the most efficiently. I'm going to try something different this time, so actually we're going to go from recording Geb over to live Geb. So, to show you the secret, I'm going to give you an example of one of the Faux Hollows that I've recently just done. So let me just get that up for you. Right, so this is the board, okay? We'll just put this to one side just for one moment, and I'm going to show you the spreadsheet. Right, so this spreadsheet shows which patterns on the board that you can identify with, okay? I'm just going to turn my camera off just for a moment, just to show you it's side by side. So, as I can see, there is one blank space in the corner right here. So looking at the spreadsheet, I need to find the one which matches this. In this case, it is A and up. Then what you want to do is you want to go down to these tabs here and go to which ones correspond with your pattern. So in my case, it's A and above, so I'll click on the tab A and up. This will now show you all the different possible combinations that can come from this combination on the board, given the blank squares that are there. So, first off, we need to try and find where the sword is, i.e. the large pattern. So to do this, we need to find the most effective square to rule out the most possible. In my case, I believe it will be this square in the middle here, amongst this 9, because it gets rid of this pattern, it gets rid of this pattern, it gets rid of this pattern, and it gets rid of this pattern here. So I'm going to pick the middle one here. There's a sword here. So, as you can see on the menu on the side here, it actually tells you which square corresponds with which pattern. I can see that there's like a little edge here where the two swords intersect, so I can tell that the rest of this pattern is this one here, this one, this one, this one, and so on and so forth. So now that I know where the sword is, I can try and figure out where the rest of the prizes are, if possible. So we've deduced that really the only patterns that are available to us are these 4 here. Okay? So the next thing you need to find is the medium gift. Let's see if we can find that, shall we? There'll be up to 4 attempts to do this. So let's go through each of the 4. So we'll go for the one in the corner that's up here. It's up here. So, now that that's ruled out, we can safely say that this board, the first board here, is the board that we're working with. We can confirm that there is a possibility that in the purple squares here is where the fox will be. Now here's where it will diverge a bit. If you are finding yourself with a pattern which has no confirmed foxes, what I would advise you to do is that I would advise you to just complete the sword and complete the gift or coffer. That will give you the most amount of leaves available. Don't go wasting your time trying to find foxes which are, you know, there's no chance of them being there. If you can see foxes and you've done it in a good amount of tiles, in which case for me I've narrowed it down to one board with just 2 tiles used, I would then try to go for the foxes, and if I then can't go for the foxes, I then go for the medium gift, then I go for the large gift. Let's see if we can go for the foxes, shall we? There's one here. No fox. Okay. On to the next one. There's one just to the right of it. Let's try. No fox. Okay. There's one just below the gift. So these 4 squares here. There might be one down here. So let's try it. No fox there. And let's try the one that's directly in the corner here. No fox. Okay. Sometimes this does happen. It's not a guarantee that the fox will appear, but doing it this way will maximize your chances of finding the fox and getting those 100 leaves. So in this case, now that I've been unable to find a fox, I will just complete this gift here, which will get me 25. And then obviously it doesn't matter what else I do. I'll complete the board fully. It will net me 25. A little bit less than what you would usually get if you were to just complete the swords of the box. But by maximizing your chances of getting the fox, you will find yourself getting more leaves in the long run doing it this way than just getting the large and medium one. Thanks a lot, Geb. Lastly, now that you have the leaves, what do you do with them? Honestly, it's up to you. If you want to collect the minions and mounts, then go for it. But if you want to make gil out of them, then here's what I would do. Depending on how patient you are and how close the next patch is, I would actually save up these leaves up to the cap of 1000 and then start spending them. Why, you ask? Well, sometimes when a new patch comes out, they actually do add a mount or a minion to the Faux Hollow shop. And whilst most of the big ticket items go for around 6 million gil now, at least on my server, grabbing the new mount and immediately selling it can net well over 20 to 25 million gil, which in turn can give you the opportunity to just buy the other mounts, which will remain at the standard price. If you already have these mounts, are not as patient, or you know the patch has recently come out and nothing has been added, then I would just buy the mounts as and when you get 600 leaves and then sell it for the standard price. Again, on my server, these currently go for around 6 to 7 million each, which is still quite a lot, mind you. And that's everything you need to know from Faux Hollows. Is there anything I've missed? Any alternate ways to do these Faux Hollows? Let me know in the comments. Of course, if you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. If you want to ask questions, I do also stream over at twitch.tv most evenings. The link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. And the next guide is probably going to either be a frontline guide, or it's probably going to be more ways to make gil passively. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, fine. Okay, you can have a hug. Here you go.